We are on the launch of the BYD Shark, but they've thrown something a little bit left field at us, and that is this, the BYD Sealion 7. They have now confirmed the day that you're watching this, the pricing and specifications for the, I guess, SUV version of the BYD Seal, which is the way I'd call it. It is a mid-size electric SUV out there to take on the Tesla Model Y. And they're definitely gunning for the Model Y in that this in premium trim, so rear-wheel drive with an 82 kilowatt-hour battery, so about 20 kilowatts bigger than what you get in a Model Y, is $5,000 to $6,000 cheaper at $67,990. That is a sharp price in this segment. I mean, this kind of puts it up against things like the Kia EV5, that Tesla Model Y, and a few other things that just can't seem to match, I think, the premium nature of this car. So let's have a little bit of a walk around and talk about the model range. So there is this premium, there's also a performance. The performance is all-wheel drive and does 4.5 seconds to 100. This one, rear-wheel drive, a little bit slower, but not dramatically. I'll put the performance figures up on screen. So lights that are very much like the Seal. Now there is a sizable frunk under there, which is really nice to see. Big, huge aero sections around here. It's a really nice, modern-looking face, really sleek-looking car. For an SUV, it's almost a little bit fastbacky, I think. If we come around the side, we have these really, I think, sporty-looking wheels, 19-inch, that's fairly sizable, and BYD is continuing to do away with those not particularly great Batman tyres they had on some of the early Attos. These ones are Continentals, a really good tyre brand. Now over here, we have the NSC logo, so this vehicle does have the ability to open it and unlock it and drive away using your phone. Pop-out door handles, not my favorite, but they work well enough with keyless entry, all those things. You get standard window tinting in the rear, really handy, and heavy tint too on the full glass roof. Another luxury feature that I think is quite impressive. Now we have the charge port over here, CCS2 for that 82 kilowatt hour battery. I'll put the charging figures up there in the corner. They're not bad. They're definitely up there with the Teslas and with some of the other options out in the market, particularly those that are leaning the 800 volt ways. But for the price of this car, and I think BYD's aim for durability in their batteries, it's an okay compromise. It's probably about the only negative I could say so far about this car. Now, if we come around to the back, we have an electric tailgate. Open it down here. This is a really decent boot, I think, and nice and deep as well. We've got extra storage here under the floor. That's probably one of the few tubs that's going to get a little bit close to matching that big underfloor tub that we see in the Model Y. And then handily, there's a second panel underneath here to keep your tyre material and your emergency material. Now, this floor itself can go down 2 stages to, again, give you a little more space. We have speakers in the back here. So actually in the third, well, in the boot, we not normally see, you've got 2 speakers, and I think that's a subwoofer for the Dyne audio system, luggage hooks, all that kind of thing. There's not a load cover, but the way the window's shaped, I'm not sure that's necessarily going to be needed. Though there do seem to be the channels to have one here. We have 3 car seat tie-down points and 3 headrests across the back. Right, let's go have a look inside. Right, so jumping into the Sealion 07. We have dual 50-watt wireless chargers, which is fantastic because my phone's flat right now, so that's going to be handy to have. We have kind of the standard BYD shifter now we've seen in the Seal for a while. We have your basic air conditioning and automatic controls down here, your start-stop button, so start the car up. Big cup holders down here. Not entirely sure what those buttons are for, but interesting nonetheless. We have a really large center storage bin there, more storage down under there, USB-A and USB-C, which is handy to have. Of course, BYD's USB-C ports are of quite a high output normally. Now, interestingly, compared to other models, the glass roof, and I'll start the car here, does have a shade. So the Tesla Model Y doesn't get a shade. I think that's really handy, particularly on a stinking hot New Zealand day like this. Now we have reach and tilt adjust on the steering wheel, lots of adjust there. Really nice feel to the interior. I mean, this is the premium, so this is the, well, arguably entry-level mode, even though it's called a model, even though it's called a premium. But beautiful stitching, lovely padding everywhere. It's really hard to find a hard surface in the front of the car. You've got to reach down here. And I wouldn't call that plastic particularly scratchy. Really nice soft touch stuff down there. Now, we have this panel in front of the passenger here, and some people on the trip thought maybe it's a screen. It's not. It's just a panel that, with the variable color LEDs in the car, changes its lighting, its look, depending on what's going on there. It's pulsing there at the moment. Now we have the 15-inch screen over here. It can be rotated. Now this is the software we've seen in the Shark as opposed to the BYD Atto and Seal, though probably getting this software coming to them as well. It does pretty much what all of them do so far. I quite like the software. It works nicely. Of course, it is connected to the internet. You can get over-the-air updates. You've got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. It's a pretty all-round functional system. It's not as clean as perhaps the Tesla, but it works pretty well. Yeah, you get used to that. You've got the Hey BYD, open the windows.
Voice assistant is currently prohibited.
Well, there you go. This is an early car. We've got to allow it. Let's try again. Hi BYD, open the windows. There you go, super handy. Now the screen in front of the driver, it's the same as you expect in other BYDs. So the same as the Seal, the same as the Shark. You've got things pretty much your lane.
Brightening the screen to maximum.
Oh, we better turn her off. You have all the information you're going to want, and you've got things like the viewing system for the lane keep assist, all that full list of driver assistance features that you will get in a car like this as standard. We can put those up now. The steering wheel, nice. Not sure what it's driving like yet. We'll go for a drive in a minute. But look, overall the front of the cabin is a really nice place to be. Well, let's jump in the back. Right, so the ultimate test for the back seat of a car. And it passes. I can fit, and this is a comfortable back seat. Plenty of headroom thanks to the glass roof. Even on the side, some cars I find are a bit tough there, but I've got plenty of space. Now I have pushed this seat forward just for ease of filming, but I think even if I pull my legs back, there's sizable room here. It's got a really nice rake on the back seat as well. You're not sitting upright or hunched. That's really comfortable. Now, I'm not sure you're gonna get 3 adults across the back here. It is more of a 2 adult or 3 children kind of back seat, but comfortable enough. Again, we've got these same swoopy soft touch materials everywhere, multiple pockets in the back seats. You've got USB-A and USB-C in here, and they fold up. Air vents. There's nothing flashy. There's no screen might get in other cars, but I think this works well enough. So yeah, great interior overall in this BYD. Right, let's take it for a drive. Right, now we are going to go for a drive. Totally different place to where we started filming this, but that's pretty normal. So let's run through the performance figures of this car. 230 kilowatts, 380 newton meters of torque, which are good, but not stellar numbers. 6.7 second 0 to 100. But you know what? On the road, it feels really perky. I kind of feel like that torque feel might be understating because, well, it's not a quick car. It does feel like a very responsive car. Really impressive. If you, of course, want the more performance, you want to go to the top, then you can go for the performance model. So with that one, you're looking at 380 kilowatts, 680 newton meters of torque. I'll put the exact figures down the bottom because I probably got that totally wrong. 4.5 seconds 0 to 100. But what I really am impressed about in this car is the ride. Now, you could probably say that things like the Tesla Model Y are a little sharper, a little more performance to drive. But this thing, I think, has a really good compromise. It's a little bit soft, a little bit squishy, but not so much that it's boaty feeling or grandma's going to get nausea sitting in the back seat. The steering itself, again, not sharp as a tack, but sharp enough, nice and accurate, nice and solid feeling. Certainly when you've got it in the sports mode that we're running in at the moment, it's a really nice compromise. brakes feel good, all that kind of stuff. The road noise is actually pretty good as well. Now, these are big 19-inch wide Continental tyres, but on the South Island chip road, which I tend to find quite noisy, it's not bad. It's pretty solid. Yeah, really, really impressive. Personally, I feel like I'm sitting a little bit high in the car. I've got the seat at its lowest position, and I would like to go down a little bit further. But I think part of that is that, you know, this is a chassis that's shared with normal sedans and that kind of thing, and they kind of need to separate the models a little bit. Now, the interesting thing with that is that next year, you'll have a weird choice to make. This is kind of the SUV version of the Seal, you could argue. Well, there's going to be a station wagon version of the Seal. You heard it here kind of first. So you'd have to choose between the station wagon or that, or this. So that's really going to come down to whether you want a little more ride height or not. And maybe I'm guessing a little more ride comfort in this vehicle. Now, the nannies in this car, the driver assistance features, we didn't have the time to really test a lot of them properly. But what I will say is they're not screaming at me. The driver awareness, there's a driver awareness camera up there, the lane keep, they've actually finally been, I think, reasonably tuned. They're not constantly screaming like they are in some other cars. So that's a win. That's a win. So I can't promise how well they do actually work, but they're sure as hell not annoying me yet. So yeah, that's kind of the feel from the driver's seat. We've spoken about all this before. I think this software is a big update from the others. The sound system sounds pretty good. My colleague next to me, we've just been listening to some Sublime, and I thought that wasn't terrible. But yeah, look, this is the first drive. We haven't had much time with the car, but overall, pretty darn impressive. So the BYD Sealion 7. Has the Tesla Model Y finally met its match? Well, I'm not entirely sure, but what I will say is I think in so many areas this has it beaten. I think it's more comfortable. I think the build quality is a lot better, and you are getting so much more battery for your money. $67,990 for this much spec and an 82 kilowatt hour battery and an SUV. That is really impressive. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe down below.